So good morning, everyone. My name is Freddie Polito. I'm a senior technical account manager. In this role, I've had the privilege of working closely with Petco, a leading pet retailer, to help them prepare their point of sale system for high traffic Black Friday and Cyber Monday events. So, as a technical account manager, my primary responsibility is to serve as a strategic advisor, technical expert, guiding customers like Petco in their cloud journeys. In Petco's case, our team helped them build a robust and resilient point of sale architecture that could withstand the demands of their peak sales seasons. Over the past few years, we've worked hand in hand with Petco's team to deeply understand their business requirements, identify potential vulnerabilities, and develop a comprehensive disaster recovery strategy. This involves selecting the right AWS services, implementing best practices, stress testing their point of sale system to ensure it could handle the influx of transactions during these sales events. And I'm happy to be joined by our panel of experts who were instrumental in Petco's resilience journey. So just want to make sure everyone can see the agenda here.
Yeah, we can say.
Great. So for today's presentation, we'll be spotlighting the specific steps Petco took to strengthen their point of sale resilience, including the disaster recovery architecture they put in place, and the key AWS services leverage. We'll also share the valuable lessons they gleaned by building and testing their runbooks, and also share the positive outcomes as a result of our support engagement, including how their point of sale architecture has become really a reference model for other teams within Petco protecting their critical workloads. By the end of this session, we aim to provide you with actionable insights, practical resources that you can use to prepare your own mission critical systems for peak sales events and enhance the availability and reliability of your critical applications. So we believe that you'll find this presentation informative and relevant. With that said, I'll hand over the mic to Rajaram to cover the great things that are happening over at Petco.
Hey everyone, I'm Rajaram. I lead the cloud AI and ML ops in Petco. So my team focuses on building the secure platforms and serving pets and pet parents. And my team closely works with Freddie and Ramesh and the entire AWS customer support team to build infrastructure for our organization. So, to give a bit of context about Petco, so Petco is a category defining health and wellness company. So, we dedicate ourselves to improve lives of pets and their families for about 60 years now. We have about 1,500 locations across US, Mexico, Puerto Rico, and also we have a lot of wide range of products, services, and care, including like premium nutrition, grooming services, dog training, and veterinary supports. We also have a really strong digital foundation to meet our pet parents wherever they are. Like we use our mobile applications, integrated e-commerce platforms, and point of sale systems and subscription services. So basically, our goal is to create an omni-channel experience for our pet parents. We are not just selling products; we are also building experiences. We have like long-term partnership with our pet parents and customers, and we also have initiatives like Petco Love. So through that, we help finding loving homes for about 7 million animals, and we also support pet adoption, fostering, and wellness in communities across the country. And we are basically redefining responsible pet care. We are also improving lives of pets, pet parents, and also our pet co-partners. Alongside this, we also put a strong foundation on reliability and performance, especially during high traffic sales events. To talk more about how we prepare for those peak moments, particularly in point of sale for the backend infrastructure, I'll hand it over to Juan.
Thank you, Raj. Um, okay, so I'm also working side by side with Rajaram. I'm also a DevOps engineering manager here at Petco. mainly working with the enabling other products and teams and the diverse journey in all the resiliency and infrastructure, kilo, and everything that they require for the automation. So how we prepare for these traffic sale events? We normally here at Petco, um, we prepare for Cyber Monday and Black Friday that are huge dates for us. It's not just sales opportunities, it's also a stress test for our systems. Mainly, one of our largest and more important systems is our POS, our point of sale systems, that we prepare these during these events to receive a high load of traffic. So what we do, all the IT leaders come together here with a holiday readiness plan that involves all the teams, because even that the point of sale is the main point of entry for these sales, involves several other teams and gets other impacted, such as distribution centers, others, membership teams, and everything that everyone comes together to analyze, review their schedules, do the performance testings, validate the infrastructure is right scale. We have all the scalings and to anticipate any issue during these days. So we also have to prevent these downtimes, we reduce the risk of have war rooms so everyone is available. So if we have any issues, we can jump in immediately. So the challenge that we have faced with this is in the past is the scalability issues that we don't know how the infrastructure and the systems are going to behave on high load. So we have enabled different projects to stress and perform a load testing on our systems to identify how much load we can handle. So we run this test from 1x to x, 3x, depending on the systems, and validate where it crashes, where we can fine tune and minimize these events and downtimes during these critical events. So next one, I think it's for you, Brian.
Thank you, Juan. So, as you mentioned, Black Friday, Cyber Monday are some of the busiest shopping days with millions of customers shopping both in store and online. So, Petco's point of sale system needs to seamlessly process a high volume of transactions without any slowdowns or outages to ensure a smooth checkout experience. This is really where having maintaining the reliability and resilience of your mission critical system is absolutely paramount. And this is where it's important that customers understand when it comes to resiliency, the shared responsibility model between our customers and AWS. So resilience is a shared responsibility between AWS and you, our customer. The shared model can help relieve your operational burden as AWS operates, manages, and controls the components from the host operating system and virtualization layer down to the resilience of the global infrastructure. You, our customer, then assume the responsibility and management of the workload built on AWS. The responsibility demarcation line will change depending on the services you choose. The integration of those services into your IT environment and applicable laws and regulations. This shared responsibility model really provides flexibility and customer control over the resilience of your workload. So, in essence, AWS is responsible for the resilience of the cloud, while you, our customer, are responsible for resilience in the cloud. And this differentiation of responsibility is really key to ensuring comprehensive system resilience. In the case of Petco, they would be responsible for the resilience in the cloud. So Petco, we work with Petco to architect their applications like their point of sale system to be resilient on top of the AWS foundation. So now that we've established those key roles and responsibilities between us and Petco, I'd like to take a step back and talk about the broader concept of resilience. This is a crucial foundation for understanding the approaches Petco has taken to prepare their mission critical systems for peak retail events. So we define resilience as the ability of your workloads the applications and services that deliver business value to respond and quickly recover from failures. To understand the interplay between these concepts, we have basically three components here. We have high availability, HA mechanisms that are like auto scaling, leveraging RDS. These are key solutions that can quickly mitigate common localized failures within your primary site. These HA mechanisms are Petco's first line of defense for ensuring their point of sale system can handle the influx of transactions during peak seasons. Now, when it comes to disaster recovery, high availability can't cover every single failure mode. For large scale regional events that could impact Petco's entire operation, they really need a DR plan to fail over to an alternate AWS region and maintain operations, if even if uh, based on their tolerance for data loss and recovery time. Also, it's critical that we don't look at resilience as a one-time task. So making sure that we educate Petco on best practices around CI/CD, chaos engineering, and enhanced observability are really crucial for Petco to continuously test and improve the resilience of their point of sale system over time. So the goal here is really to prioritize HA as a primary mechanism, only leveraging the more complex DR capabilities when HA is not enough. Now we come to strategies for disaster recovery and establishing some key terms. So when it comes to RTO, RTO is the maximum tolerable downtime a business can sustain before significant damage occurs, where RPO, recovery point objective, is the maximum amount of data the organization can afford to lose during a disruption. Together, they define the required recovery capabilities that guide the selection of the appropriate disaster recovery strategies. These strategies are really guidelines for our customers to use in order to loosely map their workloads based on their RPO and RTO requirements. The first three strategies, backup and restore, pilot light, and warm standby, these are really active passive, meaning the disaster recovery site is in standby state, not actively serving customer traffic. Backup and restore is the most basic approach where um, the DR site has minimal infrastructure and you need to provide resources from scratch, restore data from backups during a failover, and this offers the longest recovery time, but it's the lowest cost option. Pilot Light has core infrastructure provisioned in the DR site with data continuously replicated. In a failover, Petco would need to scale up, compute, and potentially promote, for example, a read replica to a writer. Warm standby takes this further with production level infrastructure running at reduced capacity in the DR site, and this allows for faster failover, but also a higher cost. So if you have mission critical workloads that require even a more robust solution than these first three options, you can then consider multi-site and have an active setup. Now I'll hand it over back to Juan Carlos to cover the key services that came into play for Petco's point of sale system and DR architecture.
Okay, thank you, Freddie. So as Freddie was mentioning, the different strategies that we have, what we use here at Petco is a warm strategy. So we have an active passive setup in our AWS to ensure this failover during the outages. So our main services that we use for disaster recovery are the Aurora RDS. We have main guarded with its own replicas, and in the DR side, which is a secondary region, complete separate different region, read replica that is replicating the information live. We also have we are using the EKS cluster for the scaling that lives in both of the regions. So they're in a warm state that the infrastructure, everything is on standby just to pull the plug in case that we need to. We just scale the application subs in the other infrastructure, do the failover to for the database, and we will have a comprehensive disaster recovery test. We use at hand with the Row 53 records where we actually face some of these issues, challenges here with the Row 53 that we have with health checks, but because we have active, passive, initially were configured to fail over when there was an issue detected in one of the applications that caused issues. But because it's active passive, not active, active, we had to change our strategy, for example, to a weighted rolling policy. So we have more control about the rockers when we want to switch from the primary to the secondary. So what we do on the net and behind all this, we the EKS we have ALB to distribute the traffic to prevent bottlenecks and allow us to have this. So we have the multi AC RDS with a separate database. So can you go to the next one? So one of the things that uh, we do here is that we all the automation is key. We have everything here automated using Terraform. We have backup snapshots up to 60 days, if I'm not mistaken. However, we have since we have this automated, we need to recreate the infrastructure. We can do it very quickly using on our on Terraform code. And we have different failover strategies to do we implement drills on this. So and we implemented some of the things that such as saving plans to save some of the costing plans to have a warm infrastructure and reduce the cost of the having all the EC2 and all the Fargate nodes running all the time. So that's what we normally do. Can we go to the next one? So one of the things that we have the journey for the DR for POS systems, we start preparing on the 2023 to actually run. We have we migrated in 2023 to a multi-region AWS site. We previously had a single region account, so we migrated our resources and recreate them in a multi-region enable account. So we start preparing and building everything that we might need to do the disaster recovery since the beginning. But our real test happened on the Q3 on that year, where we execute our first DR test to actually test the DR side to validate that everything that we had there actually works as expected. During this first test, one of the learnings that we have is that we discovered that some of the applications were not working as expected, that they need some data that needs to be replicated from one region to the other. We have some EFS mount points that are that have some data that the applications need, but we enable data synchronization between the EFS mounts. That was an improvement that we did for that we was identified that we didn't know we didn't have tested during the test. These applications were not coming out. They were trying to download all the data and it was taking too much. So at that time we decided, because it was taking too much time to these applications to go up, we decided to go to roll back. Even what was called as a successful DR, because we tested, we validated that we fail over, but we identified that there's some gaps and issues that we need to adjust. So we took those learnings from, and then last year we run again another test after this learning, and we successfully fail over to the region, and we stayed there, and we received the high peak season, the Cyber Monday holidays, and we stayed there from October to last month there in the secondary region, and now recently this year we fell back to the primary region. Even though that we failed successfully each of these tests, we learned something new. We learned that we during the successful 2024, there's an example that we face issues with the DNS, for example, when we switch the DNS to point to the second region, there were other teams that had dependency on our services that had a higher TTL, like 24 hours. So they were still hitting the old region and getting a 500, 502 errors because the applications were not available in the other region, and they had to restart the service. So for our failback on these years, we had a more extensive plan, and we knew that this might happen. So in the part of the plan was the communication was key to involve all the teams that were impacted and say, hey, we are doing this test. We are going to have, remember that we have this issue when you need to consider to restart your servers, to flush the cache, even that they tried to run with some commands directly in the past, but didn't work. So the only way that it worked for this service was to actually restart. So it was planned to do that. And during this failback, we didn't face any major issues. There were some still minor issues that we still need to adjust. That were improvements from the 2024 that we were expecting to work fine, but they didn't work as expected. So we still need to adjust minor things to finally have a fully automated, because we in this February we still had to make some of the things like one of those records didn't change automatically. We had to change manually, but it was a minor thing that was quickly done into the AWS console. So, but besides that, I think we have a very good DR test.
Thank you, Juan
So
Carlos.
back to you, Alex.
So thank you, Juan, for that great overview. Really appreciate it. Now, just want to take a few moments here and highlight some of the key programs as part of our comprehensive support strategy to help Petco along their cloud journey. Um, Starting with Countdown Premium. So, Countdown Premium is a structured engagement that helps AWS enterprise and business support customers plan for and execute large scale business events, like Petco's high traffic sales events. Within this program, we work with our customers on capacity planning. So, as part of the Countdown program, a technical account manager like myself will work closely with Petco to ensure they have sufficient compute, storage, and networking capacity provision to handle expected traffic spikes. So this involve collaborating with our internal capacity management teams to secure the necessary uh, service limits and quotas as well. For example, one of the strategies that we advise Petco on in preparation for their peak season is, for example, in Lambda, concurrency is the number of in-flight requests that your function is currently handling. There's two types of concurrency controls available: reserve concurrency, which represents the maximum number of concurrent instances allocated to your function. Uh, so when a function has reserved concurrency, no other function can use that concurrency. So it's useful to ensure that your most critical functions always have enough concurrency to handle incoming requests. And we also talked about provision capacity, where using provision capacity, we essentially um, reduce cold start latencies for functions to absorb the incoming traffic. There's also risk mitigation that went into as part of building a plan in preparation for peak. So we work to facilitate risk assessments and develop detailed runbooks to prepare Petco's team for various failure scenarios. And also during the event execution, uh, we set up a war room where we serve as a direct line of escalation to AWS engineering teams when needed. We also provided architectural guidance. I'll hand it over to my colleague, uh, uh, Ramesh, to go over the key well architected pillars that came into play here in building action plan.
Thank you, Freddie. So like Freddie mentioned, the AWS well-architected framework, it helps you understand the pros and cons of decisions when you're building systems in AWS. So using this framework will help you in learning the architectural best practices for designing and operating secure, scalable, and effective systems and workloads in AWS. So as part of the countdown, the first step that we did was the well-architected review to design, to identify any issues with the workload and then provide those recommendations for Petco, right? The well-architected review framework has 6 pillars, and out of those 6 pillars, we targeted on the reliability pillar. So with the reliability pillar, we evaluated the Petco's workload to automatically recover from any kind of failures and also help them in testing the recovery procedures and also help the Petco teams to stop guessing any kind of capacity that might be needed for their workloads in the cloud and also in terms of managing all the changes through automation. So we helped with the recover with the reliability pillar. So we also have the security pillar. So anything that we did, we also focused on security. So security, with security, we focused on the security foundations and also the identity and access management, and also the application security and incident response. So the well-architected framework is available as a service at free of cost. So it will be something where you can go into the AWS console and you can launch your well-architected review workload and you can start reviewing as well. So this is something that the AWS SAs will also be helping out. So with these 2 pillars, like we were able to help out Petco, and we also focused on cost optimization, which is another pillar. So with that being said, I will hand it back to Freddy.
Thanks, Ramesh. Another key program in helping Petco prepare was we introduced Petco to a Dr. Pet program, which is a where we work with you work with the designated TAM like myself to proactively engage Petco on resilience readiness review. So here's where we work to identify your most critical workloads, identify associated risks within the identified workload, and work with you to close any key gaps around helping you bolster your resiliency, and also help validate and test your DR runbooks. We also, as Ramesh mentioned, did a deep dive on security. So the SIP program, Security Improvement Program, is a comprehensive security assessment that reviews over 300 AWS security best practices with our enterprise support customers. So this is where we were able to drill in with Petco on helping them bolster and optimize identity and access management. So the SIP team helped Petco implement stronger controls around IAM, such as applying policies to protect critical security services, enhancing monitoring notifications for root user activity, and enforcing multi-factor authentication. We also focused on data protection. So the SIT review identified opportunities to better secure Petco's data, including features like S3 block public access across their environment. Also, looking into areas where we could automate a lot of the remediation of security gaps through infrastructure as code. So we encourage Petco to leverage infrastructure as code tools like, for example, CloudFormation, or in their case, Terraform, to automate the implementation of these improvements across their environment. Lastly, I'll leave you with some key resources that cover some key best practices to get you ready for peak events. The first and foremost best practice I want to call out is capacity planning. So you need to accurately forecast and provision the right amount of infrastructure capacity to handle expected traffic spikes without over under provisioning. So this involves modeling traffic patterns, reserving the optimal mix of on demand and reserve capacity. Underestimating your needs can lead to performance issues and lost sales, while over provisioning uh, waste resources. So this is where our team can really support customers to avoid some of these pitfalls. Now, we do have these best practices documented in the guide that we're sharing with you today. We also have a lot of great resources to help start your resiliency journey. So we've linked to our landing page here that emphasizes a lot of the design principles that are part of the well-architected pillars that Ramesh mentioned. So with that said, thank you for your time, and we'll open it up for Q&A.